You spend your life pointing the finger at the outside world, blaming the unstable economy, unfair competition, or a lack of clear opportunities. Your days drag on in a cycle of frustration, postponement, and a persistent feeling that your true potential lies dormant. But what if I told you that the wall preventing you from moving forward is not on the outside but between your own ears? What if the real adversary, the one that dictates your results in your career, relationships, and finances, is an inner voice that you haven't yet learned to control? For decades, I have watched brilliant and capable men trapped in a cycle of excuses, attributing their failures to external circumstances. The economy, the competition, the lack of luck, the list of culprits is endless. However, the truth that emerges undeniable and transformative is that your outer world is just a mirror of your inner world. The real obstacle, the one that sabotages your career, your relationships, and your prosperity, does not reside outside of you, but in the constant battle you wage with yourself. This video does not offer palliative solutions. It reveals the path to mastering your own mind, the master key to unlocking a potential previously unimaginable. Most men live with an internal radar tuned to external blame. If a career doesn't take off, the fault lies with the company that doesn't recognize their value, the boss who is incompetent, or the market that is saturated. If relationships fail, the blame is on the partner who doesn't understand the lack of available options or the difficulties of modern life. And if finances are tight, the culprit is always the same: the government, taxes, inflation, or an unfair economic system. This victim mentality, disguised as realism, is a slow poison that erodes ambition and justifies inertia. It's like a captain who, in the face of a storm, insists on blaming the clouds and the waves, instead of adjusting the sails and taking the helm. He refuses to see that the force of the wind, though real, can be used to his advantage if he knows how to navigate. This tendency to externalize responsibility is a deeply ingrained defense mechanism. Admitting that the origin of our problems may lie within us is frightening. It's more comfortable to believe that we are pawns in a game whose rules are beyond our control. This belief spares us the painful task of self-analysis and the responsibility to change. It's easier to complain about the lack of opportunities than to go out and create them. It's easier to blame the other person in a relationship than to examine one's own behavior and its consequences. It's easier to lament scarcity than to develop an abundance mindset and the skills necessary to generate it. This psychological trap is a labyrinth where many men get lost, wandering aimlessly, convinced that the way out is on the outside, when in fact, the key is in their own hands. The result of this belief is a vicious cycle of frustration and self-sabotage. Procrastination becomes a faithful companion, a way to postpone the inevitable confrontation with one's own inaction. Self-sabotage, in turn, manifests in subtle and insidious ways. It's the learning opportunity that is ignored for fear of appearing ignorant. It's the ambitious project that is avoided for fear of failure. It's the difficult conversation that is avoided for fear of conflict. Every postponement, every avoidance, every excuse reinforces the belief that we are powerless. We become involuntary architects of our own prisons, building invisible walls that separate us from success, happiness, and fulfillment. It is a silent tragedy, lived daily by millions of men who believe they are fighting against a hostile world, when in fact, the real enemy resides in the sanctuary of their own minds. This is the paradox. The search for external control robs us of internal control, and it is precisely internal control that grants us the power to shape our destiny. The fundamental truth that emerges from this pattern of thought is one of the most powerful and, at the same time, most neglected concepts: the Law of Correspondence. This universal law, observed in numerous philosophical and psychological traditions, states simply and directly that our outer world is a faithful reflection of our inner world. The reality you experience, your financial circumstances, the quality of your relationships, your state of health, the success in your career, is not determined by random external forces, but by your internal mental landscape. If you constantly feel stuck, it is because your mind on some level has embraced stagnation. If you attract toxic relationships, it is because your internal programming is in some way tuned to that pattern. Think of a gardener. If he plants seeds of weeds, what does he harvest? Weeds. He cannot be surprised or blame the soil, the sun, or the rain. The harvest is a direct consequence of what he planted. In the same way, if your mind is filled with thoughts of scarcity, fear, and doubt, you will plant these seeds in the soil of your life. The results? Financial difficulties, insecurity in relationships, a lack of confidence to pursue your goals. You find yourself trapped in a cycle of complaints, waiting for the weather outside to change, without realizing that the control is in your hands, in the choice of the seeds you decide to plant in your mental garden. A lack of understanding of this law leads directly to procrastination and self-sabotage. When we believe that obstacles are external and insurmountable, the motivation to act diminishes. Why make an effort if the outcome is already predestined by circumstances we cannot control? The mind, in its defensive wisdom, spares us the effort, leading to inertia. Self-sabotage emerges as a natural consequence. If your underlying belief is, "I am not good enough," or "things never work out for me," you will unconsciously create situations that validate this belief. You will decline an invitation to a party where you could meet influential people, avoid a course that could enhance your skills, or procrastinate on delivering an important project, all to avoid the possibility of success, which would contradict your limiting internal programming. The application of the law of correspondence begins with a simple yet radical act, taking full responsibility for your inner state. This does not mean blaming yourself for past mistakes, but recognizing that you have the power to shape your thoughts, your beliefs, and your emotions. Start observing your own mind. What are the predominant thoughts? Are they of gratitude or scarcity, of confidence or fear, of opportunity or limitation? By identifying negative patterns, you take the first step to transform them. Instead of blaming the economy, start cultivating thoughts of abundance and learning. Instead of lamenting the lack of opportunities, start seeking and creating your own opportunities with the inner conviction that you are capable. This shift in internal focus is the initial trigger for rewriting your external reality. The truth is that the most crucial battle is not against the economic recession, fierce competition, or bad luck. It is against the inner voice that echoes doubts and limitations. The outer world, with all its challenges and uncertainties, is a mere reflection of your mental landscape. If you find yourself perpetually at the mercy of circumstances, it is because your mind has not yet understood its own power. The secret to transforming your career, your relationships, and your financial health lies not in changing the world around you, but in reshaping the world within you. The incessant self-criticism, the belief that you are not good enough, or that success is for others, all these are limiting beliefs that you feed daily, cultivating a fertile ground for frustration and unrealized potential. It's like trying to build a solid house on quicksand. No matter how skilled the builder, the structure will never be stable. What needs to be built first is a strong foundation, and that foundation is your mindset. The second principle for mastering your destiny is deliberate and consistent action guided by self-awareness. This principle does not nullify the previous one, but rather deepens and makes it practical. It is not enough to recognize that your inner world shapes the outer. You must act on this understanding. Self-awareness, the recognition of your inner voice and your limiting beliefs, is the starting point. However, mere awareness without action is ineffective. It's like knowing you need to exercise, but never getting off the couch. Procrastination, that silent enemy that steals your dreams, is fueled by a lack of action congruent with your goals. You find yourself in a state of paralysis, where the desire to change is genuine, but implementation is postponed indefinitely. You tell yourself, "I'll start tomorrow. I need more planning. It's not the right time." These are veiled excuses, justifications for maintaining the status quo and avoiding the discomfort of change and the possibility of failure. The connection between the belief in the law of correspondence and deliberate action is profound. If your outer world is a reflection of your inner world, then deliberate and consistent action is the tool you use to actively shape that inner world. When you make a decision, no matter how small, and execute it with discipline, you are sending a powerful message to your own mind. I am capable. I am in control. Every small victory, every completed task, every obstacle overcome with determination strengthens your self-confidence and recalibrates your internal programming. Imagine an athlete who trains tirelessly. He does not wait for perfect physical fitness to appear by magic. He builds it through every repetition, every run, every sacrifice. In the same way, you build the mindset of success through consistent actions, even when motivation is low. The secret is not to feel motivated to act, but to act to generate motivation. Action precedes clarity and consistency, momentum. Challenge yourself to take the first step, even if it seems insignificant. Start a new task. Send that important email, have that difficult conversation. Every act of courage and discipline reprograms your mind, transforming your limiting beliefs into convictions of power and capability. This is the foundation of self-transformation, recognizing the power of your mind and then actively using it to drive the action that will create the reality you desire. We have reached the crucial point. You have understood that your outer world is an echo of your inner world. You have understood that the critical voice in your mind, procrastination and self-sabotage, are not character flaws, but rather patterns of thought that you can and must master. Now, how does this translate into tangible results in a vital area of your life? Choose one: finances, relationships, career, or health. Let's focus on your financial health, a direct reflection of your mindset and your actions. If you constantly struggle with debt, with a lack of money, with financial insecurity, it is time to stop blaming the economy, the low salary, or inflation. The root cause is within you. Think about your beliefs about money. Do you believe that money is dirty? That the rich are dishonest? That having money brings more problems than joys? These beliefs, often unconscious, are the seeds you have planted in your mental garden. And what do you harvest? Scarcity. Every time you avoid an opportunity to learn about finances, every time you procrastinate on organizing your budget, every time you spend impulsively for a momentary gratification instead of investing in your future, you are reinforcing this scarcity mindset. The consequences are immediate and painful. Bills pile up, financial stress becomes chronic, and the freedom you so long for seems unattainable. This is not a fatality. It is a behavioral choice based on limiting beliefs. The urgency here is that every day that passes in this mindset is one less day of freedom and prosperity. On the other hand, imagine the transformation when you decide to recalibrate your mind. You begin to cultivate beliefs of abundance. You believe that it is possible to generate wealth, that you deserve prosperity, and that money can be a tool for good. You actively seek financial knowledge. You read books, listen to podcasts, attend workshops. You begin to act deliberately. You organize your budget with discipline, cut unnecessary expenses, start investing even if with little. Every action, no matter how small, reprograms your mind. Fear diminishes, confidence increases. The practical consequences are revolutionary. You start getting out of debt, creating an emergency fund, seeing your net worth grow. Your financial anxiety dissipates, replaced by a sense of control and security. You realize you didn't need a new external opportunity. You just needed the internal change. The failure to apply these principles is an invitation to mediocrity and regret. It is to remain in the same place year after year, complaining about the same circumstances, while others with the same luck and the same external opportunities prosper. The difference is not in the outer world, but in the mastery of the inner world. The personal urgency lies in recognizing that time is a finite resource. You cannot afford to continue postponing the construction of your own financial freedom, the building of healthy and lasting relationships, or the realization of your professional and physical potential. The decision to master your mind, and consequently your destiny, is the most important decision you can make. It is not about magic, but about clarity, decision, and consistent action. The power to transform your reality is within your reach, just waiting for you to awaken it. The time is now. The true core of transformation, the leap that transcends the mere optimization of habits or the correction of limiting beliefs, lies in the metamorphosis of your own identity. It is not just about silencing the critical voice or acting with more discipline. It is about who you choose to be, fundamentally at the core of your being. Believing that the enemy is out there is a comfortable but limiting illusion. Assuming that your failures are the result of external circumstances is a self-imposition of powerlessness. The deepest paradigm shift is not about solving external problems, but about becoming the person who naturally attracts and creates solutions, the person who is not stopped by obstacles, but who uses them as stepping stones. Who you need to become is not a master of avoiding failure or circumventing difficulties, It is someone who embraces imperfection as part of the growth process, someone who sees each setback not as an endpoint, but as a comma in their learning journey. It is the person who understands that resilience is not the absence of falls, but the ability to get up, stronger and wiser, each time. This transformation of identity is a continuous process of self-choice. You are not fated to be who you have been until now. Every present moment is an opportunity to redefine your essence. Do you choose to be the one who gives up at the first difficulty, or the one who, with tenacity and vision, persists until the goal is reached? Do you choose to be the one who laments lost opportunities, or the one who, with audacity and creativity, forges new opportunities where there were none before? This change of identity manifests in a radical redefinition of your relationship with challenge. Instead of fleeing from discomfort, you intentionally seek it out. You understand that genuine growth happens outside of your comfort zone. It is in this space of uncertainty and learning that you forge your new persona. Think of the great leaders, the innovators, the individuals who left a legacy. They were not immune to failure or criticism. On the contrary, they were masters at learning from them, at extracting valuable lessons, and at using those experiences to shape who they would become. Your identity is not a fixed destiny, but a project under constant construction. You are the architect of your own essence. Start seeing yourself not as an individual limited by your current circumstances, but as a being in evolution, capable of reinventing yourself and reaching previously unimaginable heights. Who you choose to be from now on will determine not only what you achieve, but the depth and richness of your own existence. That is the final frontier, the ultimate control, the mastery over who you become. The journey you have begun is not a series of tricks or fleeting strategies. It is the dawn of a new consciousness, the foundation of a principle of life that echoes through the centuries and shapes the destiny of empires and individuals. The understanding that the final battlefield lies within your own psyche and not in the hardships of the external world is more than a perception. It is a revelation that frees you from the chains of victimization. You are not a ship adrift in an ocean of uncontrollable circumstances. You are the captain, the navigator, the builder of your own rudder. Storms will come, tides will rise and fall, but the force that drives you, the compass that guides you, resides in your own core. To embrace this radical truth means to transcend mere problem-solving. It means evolving into the source of solutions. It is not about fixing what is broken out there, but about becoming the artisan of your own inner universe, where abundance, harmony, and fulfillment are not objects of external pursuit, but the flourishing essence of your being. The economy may fluctuate, competition may intensify, opportunities may seem scarce, but for the one who masters the realm of their own mind, these are just elements of the scenery, never the determinants of their destiny. True mastery does not lie in controlling the wind, but in adjusting the sails with the wisdom and inner strength you have cultivated. This call to action is an invitation to embrace total responsibility, not as a burden, but as the most sublime of freedoms. It is the courage to look within, without excuses, without illusions, and to recognize that every thought, every choice, every action is a brick in the building of your reality. You have the power to rewrite your narratives, to dismantle the old beliefs that imprison you, and to forge new truths that propel you towards excellence. This is the legacy you are destined to build, not a monument erected by circumstances, but a masterpiece of character forged in the furnace of self-mastery. Take the reins with the conviction of a sovereign, for you are in fact the monarch of your own universe. Your mind is your kingdom, your will is the law, and your destiny is the future you dare to create. The transformation is not a distant event. It is the choice you make now and in every subsequent moment. You are the creator,